So first off, I just want to apologise for the lateness of this video. I've been working nights at my new job and things got really crazy, but here we go. So I've been doing my series review of Pixar movies for a little over a month now, and there have been some great reviews, some breakdowns, and even some social question on society. But to me, nothing hits home quite like WALL-E. This movie came out in 2008 and was the perfect time for me, as I was 15 years old when I saw this film, and at that teenage time in your life that is very influential for a lot of people. It's the time you start to shape your life, discover who you are as a person, and the events that happen in your life affect you deeply. So maybe it is nostalgia for me that make me love this movie, but every time I watch this film, it's like I'm watching it for the first time. Hello, I am the Average Critic, and this is why WALL-E is perfect. To me, at least. Okay, so right from the opening shot of this movie, you can tell it's special. It's not a huge big thrill ride, it doesn't start with a character monologue in it, the camera rolls over the beautifully rendered footage of space as we hear the song Put On Your Sunday Clothes from the musical Hello Dolly. Now for those who know me know I am an old-fashioned musical lover, but there's something so great about this piece of music for this film. Unlike the film Cars, which used a lot of licensed music, WALL-E uses 3 licensed songs for this movie, and every time it enhances the characters because it tells a story through music. As we pan onto Earth in the opening shot, we see what Earth has become, and hearing the music that we are listening to, WALL-E is listening to it as well. So he's a robot who's still doing his original directive, but despite the world around him, he found a way to become free thinking and to be his own character. And despite the world going to crap, WALL-E chooses to continue to live. And after WALL-E stops the music, it pans out to see the giant trash skyscraper he is building. And one of the beautiful ominous music plays, scored brilliantly by Thomas Newman. So from the get-go, we have established world, character, and style. Now, with any film these days, you have to pitch your idea to producers and companies. And like most ideas, you pitch the story. What if someone made a dinosaur park? What if someone went back in time and stopped themselves from being born? But what makes WALL-E so special is its concentration on character. You don't get the confrontation of the story till about halfway through the movie. It instead chooses to put its audience focus on WALL-E. You get a glimpse of his day-to-day life on Earth. He gets up, goes to work, he collects things he's interested in, and when you focus on character, this allows the humour to fall through so much more naturally. The film's humour is so predictable, but you love it because his character is always front and centre. Giving a robot human properties makes WALL-E much more relatable, but does so within the laws of its own universe. So when WALL-E picks up the engagement ring box, we recognise it, but we know that in this universe, WALL-E doesn't. So, of course, he throws away the ring and is way more interested in the box. Just watching WALL-E is so entertaining because the story is not in the centre. Usually a film set in a post-apocalyptic world, we'd have a story about the world being saved, but this film focuses on its characters' interaction. Even WALL-E's motivations and dreams are just wanting to fall in love. I love it when you first see him at his home. He's organising the things he's collected, he's humming Hello Dolly, and the visual storytelling of him holding his own hands is so heart-wrenching because even though in this world he seems happy and he has a purpose, he's lonely and wants nothing more than to hold another robot's hand. I wanna know what love is. Now obviously when this film came out, it was known and still is as the Pixar film with little to no dialogue. Our 2 main characters have very minimal dialogue and generally communicate through facial expressions and physical appearance. In order to prepare for the movie, the animators watched a Keaton and Charlie Chaplin movie every day to prepare, and it clearly shows through the humour and design of the characters' interaction. Because this film was inspired by sci-fi robots of the likes of R2-D2, making its robots' characters not have a wide range of communication allowed the animators to allow the audience to project their own feelings onto them. If you're seeing WALL-E project what he wants to say, as the audience we fill in the gaps of what he is saying. We know he's saying Eve, look at this, or you stay here. The physical comedy and physical communication is so universal, as any age and nationality can understand it, and it has been around for generations. The music of WALL-E is so unique and different. I've already said how they use songs from the musical Hello Dolly, and it also uses a beautiful rendition of La Vie en Rose. But that doesn't stop the original soundtrack from standing out. I spoke in my Cars review how the original score in that film is overshadowed by the licensed songs they brought in, but WALL-E captures the feel and style of the movie in both. Thomas Newman, the composer of the film, even wanted to challenge himself to do his own scores, instead of using songs sung by other artists. Even the ending song, Down to Earth, was written by Newman and sung by Peter Gabriel, who is one of Thomas Newman's favourite singers. Even that song works so well as the epilogue of the story, showing the humans grow and adapt to their new Earth. What makes the music so great is the comparison in depth of the story, because in one sense you have WALL-E and Eve's love story, and the other this big adventure to return the humans to Earth. Thomas Newman was able to create beautiful, intimate scores for WALL-E and Eve, at the same time creating these grand, adventure-like scores for more striking scenes. But because this film is set in a post-apocalyptic world in space, Thomas Newman needed to essentially design a soundtrack for a world that is like our world, but completely fictional. Every character has a theme, which relates back to the idea of the characters being at the forefront of this movie. For WALL-E, this frantic, comical, almost clown-like theme to represent that he is an old robot. Eve's theme is slick and romantic to represent how WALL-E is just swept away as soon as he sees her. She's a modern technology robot, and so her theme reflects that. But good music is always memorable, and every piece of music represents a character's feeling and help boosts this film's focus on character. So this film has a lot of themes, and I mean a lot. You can interpret this film in so many ways, and I'm sure there are plenty of videos out there on YouTube. There's the religious aspect, the message on waste and technology, but this is my video, and I want to talk about what resonated with me.
My game, my rules.
But there's a huge message throughout this movie, from the start to the very end, and that is the message of directive and purpose. Every single character has a directive, a job, something to do. WALL-E starts out, his directive is to compact trash and stack it up, and that's all he's ever known. And then when Eve comes along, he finds his own personal directive of falling in love can be made real. A tiny but small example of this movie, which I absolutely love, is what I like to call the receptionist robot. The robot is a little bit slow and does nothing but type on its computer-like pad, but as WALL-E passes, he waves at it. And then the robot learns that he can do something different, and by the end, he is waving his hand like a pro. I absolutely love this scene. It's so small, but it just kind of represents that whole theme so brilliantly. Even the robots who are all free from the repair ward, who obviously can't work in their respective fields, later use their defective problems to help WALL-E and Eve. Even Eve learns that although her directive is to find the plant and deliver it to the captain, that having another personal directive similar to WALL-E is just as important, as WALL-E teaches us that following the rules isn't always the best course of action. All these robots mirror perfectly with the human characters. The captain is someone who is slowly losing his directive, as the humans have become lazy due to their reliance on technology. It's interesting how all the pictures of all the captains, Auto the robot slowly gets closer to the captain, symbolizing how much control Auto has. By the end, the captain learns to take charge and to follow his directive as captain of the ship. Also, a little fun fact, the ship's computer is voiced by none other than our sci-fi queen, Sigourney Weaver.
It's the only way to be sure.
Again, all this follows back to the characters, as even after the humans have safely returned to Earth, the final conflict isn't with the humans, it's about WALL-E forgetting who he is, and after a sparked kiss from Eve, he remembers his directive, which all along was to be with Eve. I love this film because it's something we've seen before, but almost said a little bit differently. Lots of films have the classic message of be who you want to be and don't follow the herd, but WALL-E has this theme of learning and trying to do other things and having multiple goals and the question of what humanity is. Sure, we may survive the future in space, but what's the point if we become so reliant on technology that that's all we need? I think this is a conversation we still need to have today, as with things like social media getting a lot of shtick, technology isn't bad, but we need to learn how to use it effectively. You see this during the epilogue sequence. All the robots are using a new directive to help the humans, and the humans are helping the robots. I love social media and I love YouTube, but I make sure that I don't rely on it. So with all that, guys, this gets my professional rating of 10 out of 10, and I've got to give it my personal rating of 11 out of 10. Yeah, again, my video, my rules. This film is absolutely perfect to me. I think it's absolutely beautiful. The themes resonating within this story is absolutely fantastic, and I love it. And so that is why WALL-E is completely perfect to me. So thank you guys for joining me in this video. This movie means so much to me. Why don't you tell me your favourite WALL-E moment in the comments section below, and please tune in next week and get your tissues ready as we get to talk about Up. Oh my god, I can feel the tears coming already.
Are you crying? Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying. It's okay to cry. People cry. It's great, but I'm not crying. I'm not a crier. I don't cry. I work out. I have hobbies. I don't.
But I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, and why not consider subscribing and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you all in the next one.